Today we are going to derive cosecant x. Now the first thing that we want to note, we're gonna prove it. Deriving it and proving it here, we're gonna prove it. Finding it, proving it, it's the same thing really. So we're gonna prove it by using the reciprocal of cosecant x, which is 1 over sine x. And we know from former videos and also probably from former calculus, if you're doing cosecant, you've probably done sine. We know that the derivative of sine x is cosine x. We know that, and we are going to use that fact. We're going to use that fact to prove that cosecant x prime is negative cotangent x cosecant x. Now, so we're gonna just apply the quotient rule to 1 over sine x, because we already know the derivative of sine x. So we're just gonna write cosecant x prime equals. Okay, so now we're going to use the quotient rule. We are going to use the quotient rule, and it's going to be easy because the numerator only contains 1, right? So we know that the quotient rule. Let me write it down really quickly. Let me write down the quotient rule, and then we can have it before our eyes as we do it. The quotient rule states that f over g of x prime is g times f prime minus f times g prime over g squared. Okay, so let's apply that. G in this particular case is sine x. F is 1, which is going to make life a lot easier. So we're going to square sine x in the bottom, sine x squared, and we're going to multiply sine x by 1 prime, and we're going to subtract that from 1 times sine x prime. 1 times sine x prime. Okay, so now we are going to end up with, interestingly, sine x times 0, because the derivative of any constant is always 0, minus 1 times cosine x, all over sine squared x, or sine x squared. Okay, all over sine x squared. So now what do we do? Well, now we are going to write out the denominator as sine x times sine x, because it's going to show us that there's a last thing we can do. What we're going to end up with over here is negative cosine x over sine x times sine x. Well, that equals negative cosine x over sine x times 1 over sine x. And now we can see some trig identities. Now we can see that this right here is negative cotangent x. Negative cotangent x. We know that tan is sine over cosine, so we know that cotan is cosine over sine. Well, there's a negative in there, but it applies nonetheless, of course. And then we know that 1 over sine is actually cosecant x. So we end up with negative cotangent x times cosecant x. And that is the derivative of cosecant x.